She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are all here on this team. So very blessed that you decided to join us today. Hey, are you free? You're like, what? Hey, are you free? You know, some people think that freedom has only to do with financial freedom. Other people who have been in bondage to something before, they understand freedom from a completely different aspect. What we're going to talk about today is, are our citizens really free? And what is our personal definition of freedom, right? We happen to live in America. If you're watching this show from Canada or other parts of the world, we are broadcasting this show from America. In fact, Texas, in my opinion, that's where freedom really lies, is in the state of Texas. It's kind of like old America. And so freedom for you and freedom for me might be completely different things. But we want to hear from you. We want to know what your opinion is about this. How do you define freedom? There was a study that was done, check it out, that my coworker found. According to the national survey from the Center for the New American Dream, 78% of Americans are defining the American dream as having more personal freedom. What is that? What is personal freedom? What does that mean to you? Are you of the 78% that feel like the American dream is about having personal freedom? Personal freedom how? Personal freedom in what? Personal freedom from what? What does that actually look like from you? So we've asked our audience, and we've got some people who have called in. We've got April Lindsay from Illinois first. April, what is your personal definition of freedom?
Thank you, Dani, for having me on the show. Yeah. My comment to that was having peace in the middle of storms, as well as being content, and above all else, salvation in Yeshua. Yeah. And I said, for me, it's a work in progress for the first two, working out the salvation every day, but confident that I'm a child of God. It's all about relationship, not, of course, about religion. So what I meant by that was having the peace in the middle of storms. I struggled with fear and anxiety growing up, and I still struggle with that a little bit.
There's nothing like that. There's like nothing like that, April. There really isn't. And so can we camp out on that for a minute? So fear and anxiety. Yes. So somebody who is suffering from fear and anxiety, what caused the fear and the anxiety that you had?
For me, it was a couple different things. It's what people spoke over me.
Like what? What did they say about you?
That I wasn't good enough, that I was lazy, that I would never be anything. And so I've done what you said before. You said to replace those thoughts with positive ones. Yep. You know, I listened, like you have stated before, you listen to tapes to help that change your mind, what you think about yourself.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that for a minute, because the mind really controls our reality. It really does. Our mind and our mouth, what we speak, life and death being in the power of our tongue. So when somebody else has used the power of their tongue to say to their child, or to their student, you're lazy, you're stupid, you're never going to amount to anything. I had those very same things spoken about me. And so when you hear that, our minds are actually being programmed just like a computer. And we're having these programs, these tapes, these tracks, if you will. I want you to imagine train tracks, right? So if you imagine the train track that says you're lazy, you're stupid, you can't do anything right, that track takes us to where?
Depression and just horrible thoughts about ourselves.
Yeah. And when we're depressed, are we motivated?
No.
And so if we're not motivated, would that be perceived as a procrastinator or being lazy?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And so literally we've been trained with these words from our parents or our teachers in our lives, that when these words were spoken, this created a track in our head. And you imagine that you're on a train, and that train is headed for lazy, good for nothing, can't do anything right. And then we end up with depression And we are now lazy because we have no motivation, because we feel like we can't do anything right. And that's exactly how. So let me ask you. So when you were suffering from that kind of fear of what were you afraid of?
I'm always afraid. I still struggle with it. Just fear of what people think about me.
Yeah.
I always, I guess it's a kind of like a people pleaser, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But when someone just criticizes me, or I feel like they have a perceived thought about me,
Yep.
it doesn't even necessarily need to be like spoken. It's affected the way I think about myself, so I automatically think that's how they perceive me.
Automatically, like you don't even know what they're thinking about you. But again, that track that was trained in your mind, right? Your subconscious mind just keeps giving you that message again and again and again. And so now when you see or meet people, now I'm afraid to meet people because I think they're going to think I'm lazy, stupid, and I can't do anything right, right? So this is a prison, isn't it, in your mind?
Yes.
And that prison is void of freedom. Now let's get to the other side, because this is what you said. You said, so I still now and again struggle with it. Nothing like what you did when you were younger. And what you did is you brought in new thoughts and new words and new training. And you began to have a new track. Isn't it, April, so powerful?
Yes, it is.
How our mind works. And how when you begin to put truth, not your experiential truth. The experiential truth is what the adults in your life spoke about you, and then maybe some other kids spoke about you. But when you change tracks, you take your little train off of that track that's heading for depression, destruction, anxiety attacks, right? Fear, crying your eyes out, even suicide if you let it keep going. You start developing a new track that says what? What was the new track you chose to believe?
Well, I'm working on daily saying what God says about me.
And what does he say? April, what does he say about you?
That I'm worthy, that I'm loved, that I am smart. With all things, I can do all things through him.
Yes.
So I want to just describe one thing to you real quick. You've really helped me out so much, and I'm starting to cry.
Me too. Seriously.
I'm a crier.
Me too.
So what that depression kind of looks like, and I'm still coming out of it, is I gave up on everything, including myself. I'm overweight, extremely overweight, and I just gave up on life. I remember telling myself that I was going to live my life through the TV. Yeah. And everything, the places I would see on TV, that was going to be my travel. Wow. My relationships were going to be on TV. Wow. And I started to close in. So I'm breaking out of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of
I
you.
heard you say before that, you believe in being in counseling for life. And I was in counseling when I was younger, and when I came familiar with you, I heard that from you, and I was like, you know what, I've been wanting to get back in counseling, and ever since then, it's just been progress.
Yes, April,
I'm going to First Steps in a couple weeks.
Yes,
so I'm so excited. It's my first one.
Wow, April, let me tell you something. First of all, how did you ever hear about us?
Originally, the very first time I came across your sponsored ad on Facebook.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
And I had previously liked your page. It's just I didn't take the time at that time to look into it. Mm-hmm. And then I had started a home-based business, and they really talked about kind of training and learning.
Yeah.
And I started looking on YouTube for just inspirational, just looking for people. And then I came across the very first one I listened to of your show was about rejection. And that's what I struggled with.
Yeah.
And so I was like, from that time on, I've just been a daily listener.
Wow. Wow. So first of all, I think it's God, obviously, that had you see that Facebook post
Oh, yeah.
clearly. And I'm so excited that I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks. At
Yes.
First Steps to Success. I'm so excited about that because everything is going to change, April. You've already made some big changes. You already discovered the choices that you made in your life. And I love what you said. It's so powerful. My life is going to be the television. My travel is going to be what I see on TV. My friends are going to be who I see on television. My relationships are going to be who I see on television. Wow, that is like so powerful and such a prison. And I believe that God is already starting to pull you out of that prison, and you're going to be able to start to then, after you come completely free from fear and anxiety and these words from your past, which, by the way, we really focus on at First Steps to Success, digging deep into that wiring that has happened, that track that's in your head, and redirecting, like developing a whole new track that you put yourself on that has a totally different destination. And if I can do it, obviously you can, right? If I can do it, if I can break free from suicide, if I can break free from depression and being overweight, if I can break free from absolute poverty and feeling like a failure, and even after I started making money, still feeling like a failure, because of the tracks that were in my head. If I can reprogram my mind, anyone can. Anyone can. And in reprogramming my mind, everything has changed. My entire life, my marriage, who I am as a parent, who I am as a business person, who I am as a daughter of the Most High God. April, I'm so excited and I'm so proud of you. We've got Issa from Virginia. Issa, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. What about you? What does freedom mean to you?
Hi, and thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Freedom to me means time and location freedom and being able to work at home instead of going to a 9 to 5.
Tell me why.
Well, when I was younger, I had some jobs and I had a lot of fun. But when I got older, when the economy started to crash, I kept losing jobs over and over.
You know they're predicting another crash this time next year.
Oh, no, that's not good.
No, that's what the economists are predicting right now, that this time next year, and we're not talking about the TV ones, we're talking about the real ones. But yeah, they're predicting another huge recession should be taking place this time next year.
Oh, gracious.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to have to be prepared for that.
Yes! Yes! We should always be prepared for that.
Yes, yes. Well, after losing jobs when the economy took a turn for the worse, it kept happening over and over, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And it wasn't me. It was because they reorganized, or they downsized, or they eliminated my position. So, with everybody letting people go and combining the position that they had with an existing position, my job became obsolete. So I thought, well, what am I going to do now? So the only thing I could think of was, well, this is the age of technology. I'll look on the computer. And thank goodness I found something where I could work at home.
Yep.
So I have been working at home ever since. I don't have to go to a job. I don't have a boss. I'm the boss. So this is turning around for me now. I'm still in the process.
So then let me ask you this question, Issa, because now that you're in business for yourself, right? So does that mean that the economy is not going to affect you?
Correct.
That's nonsense. If the economy affects the businesses that you worked for, how in the world do you think that the economy would not affect you if it affects other businesses?
I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't.
Girl. Wait. So you're trying to tell me that people who run big businesses, the economy has an effect on them, these smart business people, and here you are a budding entrepreneur, green, wet behind the ears, and the economy is going to have no effect on you as a brand new business person.
Well, the businesses that I've been getting involved with are digital businesses. They're not brick and mortar businesses.
Oh, okay. So hold on. So let's backtrack. So are you trying to tell me that all of the technology businesses that are out there, the economy has no effect on those? Digital businesses? So digital businesses are totally recession proof.
No, maybe not. But
Here's what I'm telling you, girlfriend. Here's what I'm telling you.
I don't see it affecting me, though, as it would in a brick and mortar business.
Okay, baby. Well, I've been in business for 30 years, and I have a digital business. And guess what? The economy has an effect, whether you're digital or brick and mortar. Doesn't matter what kind of business you have, the economy affects it. Some businesses thrive in a bad economy. Other businesses tank in a bad economy. Some businesses thrive in a good economy, and other businesses tank in a bad economy. Isn't that wild? So the economy has an impact no matter what business you have, whether you own it or you work for someone else. The key is what you said earlier without even realizing you said it. Number one is, I better prepare for that. You're darn right, girlfriend. You better prepare for that. The other thing is, you better start thinking today, what will I do if there is a downturn? How can I prevent the loss of business in a downturn? What type of business? Don't just assume that because you're digital that you're not going to be affected. Yes, you will be affected. Lots of digital businesses get affected in a bad economy or in a recession. So the key is you might want to learn the skills of recession proofing your business. If you don't possess that skill, if you actually think it's the business itself, I'm sorry to tell you, you're wrong. I've been in business for 30 years. I've been in the digital business for 15 of those 30 years. I can tell you that there is an impact no matter what happens. So how do you recession proof it? What skills do you need? What can you see out on the horizon, and what can you do to prevent a downturn and or to minimize the downturn? Or what kind of things can you put in place already the way you're communicating digitally for what the next recession is? How are you going to answer it? What kind of objections are you going to be getting? I begin to start looking in that to make sure that you're prepared versus, oh man, I don't want to see you when the next recession comes. You're like, here, I thought I was like totally safe from recession because I have my own digital business. BS. No, don't be caught like that. You want to be somebody that's already thinking, planning, strategizing, and most important, put money away. Put money away. You see, there's seasons of feasting in preparation for seasons of famine. And there is a way to prosper in a famine, and it has nothing to do with a digital business. That digital businesses go out of business in a recession, just like brick and mortar businesses go out of business. So my hunch would be that someone sold you that your digital business is recession proof. Someone sold you. They told you you'll never have to worry about, losing money or losing your job or layoffs or any of that stuff, honey. It's a great pitch. It's a really great pitch. But the fact is, do your own research. What businesses thrive in the digital economy? What are there businesses that shut down during recessions or they lose money during recessions that are digital? You're going to find the answers, yes, absolutely. There is no business out there that doesn't have some kind of effect happen to them during times of feasting or times of famine. So you want to prepare yourself, heart, your emotions, your finances, and strategize. All right, if there's a recession coming, how am I going to communicate? How am I going to prevent a great loss? What can I do? What kind of new skill sets? What do I have recession proofing skills? What part of my business could be affected in a recession? And or how do I capitalize on it? Because it's all about flipping the tables on it. And it's all about communication, especially from a digital position. So freedom, yes, to you is not having to leave the home and work in a brick and mortar, but to be at home. I agree with you. Freedom, let's take it one step further. Recession proof yourself. Live under your own economy. And that isn't because you're your own boss. No. remember, all those businesses you worked for, they were their own boss too. They were their own boss too. So my point is freedom, real freedom, is planning ahead, is making sure that you're taking care of the future, and that if something does happen, you're not worrying. You're not worrying. And or two sides. Okay, if recession comes, how will I digitally communicate on each side? How will I handle a downturn? Or how can I flip the downturn into an uptrend for myself? So I hope that answers that for you. I want you to stay in freedom. Do you understand? Because the economy goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. 7-year cycles, happens all the time. You can study it throughout history. You can actually go to the Bible and see it. It actually is in the Bible. We see it with Joseph, with the 7 years of feasting, preparation for the 7 years of famine. And he prospered during the famine because of proper planning. Because of planning is how he prospered during the famine. It wasn't because, okay, the famine's coming and I'm going to ignore it and I'm not going to prepare for it. He prepared, and that's why he still prospered. All right, so listen. I don't know if today has made any sense to you, and I don't know if freedom is something that you're truly after. And I hope today helped you even kind of define it. I love these two examples between Angie and Isa. You know, Isa, for her, it's like freedom means I'm not leaving my house. I'm actually not going to the brick and mortar. I don't have somebody else in control of my income. I'm in business for myself. I'm now in control of my business, and I'm not going to suffer layoffs during a bad economy. So that's her form of freedom. And then Angie, which I can so identify with, emotional freedom. Freedom from the bondage of and the suffering of a childhood. The freedom from the tracks in our head that are beating us up on a daily basis, telling us that we're good for nothing, that we're stupid, that we're lazy, that we'll never amount to anything. The tracks in our head that say we are not worthy of anything. Man, as you come into changing those mindsets and you develop new tracks in your mind that are now spitting up different messages to you, which is you are worthy. You are valued. You are awesomely and wonderfully put together perfectly, all the right parts. You are good. You will succeed when you begin to retrain your brain with truth and you start to believe those things, and you can go after anything. Listen, I've got something for you that I would love to give you. It's First Steps to Wealth. This is a free book. It's how I went from homeless and suicidal to a millionaire, now giving millions of dollars away. It literally, chapter by chapter, step by step, how to build that business Isa's talking about, how to recession-proof that business, the kind of skills that you need in a bad economy to be able to thrive greatly, as well as how to be wise and stick money in places so that you have it no matter what's happening outside of your business. You are taken care of, and that is called financial freedom. Pick it up. It's free. You can download a copy of it at DaniJohnson.com. Go to DaniJohnson.com, download your free copy right now. If you want a physical copy, there's an option there for you to pay the shipping for the physical copy of this book, so that you can write notes, dog ear. You're going to find the solutions to the finances. You're going to find the solutions to the mental part of freedom, as well as the financial part of freedom. And we want to give this to you absolutely free. So go get your copy today, DaniJohnson.com. First Steps to Wealth. It's right there on the homepage. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope to see you live face-to-face soon. Bye-bye.